Swamiji is the architect behind Chinmaya Mission's popular Bala Vihar and summer camps for children in the Washington, D.C. area. For the adults, Swami Dhirananda has been conducting year-long weekly talks in Maryland and Virginia, expounding Vedanta through many scriptural texts. Swamiji is unique in articulating the difficult Vedantic concepts through very simple, real-life examples that provide practical guidance in our daily lives. Swamiji is conducting this Jnana Yajna as his offering towards Pujya Gurudev's vision and to raise awareness and funds for Chinmaya Mission capital projects. The theme of the Yajna, Verses of Gita, Chapter 3, Karma Yoga, was specially selected by Swamiji for Pujya Gurudev's birth centenary. These verses were the theme for Summer Camp 2016 and for the upcoming Gita chanting competition in March 2017. As the children and adults memorize these verses to prepare for the competition, Swamiji's discourses will provide the opportunity for us to understand the meaning in greater detail. Each evening will start at 6:45 with the chanting of Bhagavad Gita Dhyanam and verses from chapter 3. Swamiji's discourse will begin at 7 p.m. We request everyone to arrive early and participate. We will conclude each night with Aarti to Lord Chinmaya Somnath, Sri Krishna, and Sri Gurudev. We request you to sponsor the Aarti for any evening, including tonight. The recommended donation is $51 or higher. Please contact Ashutosh, Sudiksha, or any volunteer to offer your sponsorship. Please visit our bookstore and purchase a copy of Chapter 3 so you may follow along the discourses. We also have a number of publications and CDs, including recordings of numerous previous yajnas and camps conducted in our area. We still have several Bhiksha slots available. Please see Darshana Somalvar or Vibha Kulkarni if you would like to offer Bhiksha to Swamiji during his stay in Virginia. Older children who are interested in these discourses are welcome to join the adults in this hall for the talks. For the younger children, we have a team of sevaks who have planned activities for children above the ages of 4. They will watch a movie or do coloring activities. And finally, please turn off your cell phones. Enjoy the talks and benefit from the wisdom imparted by Swamiji. We ask you to let all your friends know about these wonderful discourses as they are open to everyone, not just Chinmaya Mission members. Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Shreyas. Thank you. You pronounce it Shreyas or Shreyas only, isn't it? So I'm going to talk about him also. It comes in the talk. Yena Shreyo Ham Apnuyam. Happy holy days. What did I say? What did I say? Dakshesh. What did I say? Sahaj? Well, if you hear as a happy holidays, it's not my fault. First of all, I want to give my disclaimer. Can you project my disclaimer? Can you see my disclaimer? Do you see? I am only responsible for what I say, not for what you understand. I don't see it on my projector. What is this called? Monitor? Now it is coming. Now it's coming. So I am only responsible for what I say, not for what you understand. See the highlights underlined? Maybe when you moved it, now it came. Isn't it nice? So if you see, you may say, Swamiji, this is what I understood. Not my responsibility. Isn't it? my responsibility ends to what I say. What you understand is your responsibility. So last year, which chapter we saw? Chapter 2. I use the wrong term, we saw, actually I saw. For you by now it is all clear, isn't it? Chapter 2, all clear. All clear means history clear. That's what is beautiful technology. My Mac also is a sannyasi. My laptop also is a sannyasi, has taken sannyas. That's why I thought I will use laptop. So, last year we saw chapter 2. That was the last portion, and before that we saw earlier portions as well. The first chapter is entitled Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Means Arjuna's sorrow. That is the first chapter. So Gita starts chapter 1, Arjuna's sorrow. And that is called yoga. Isn't it? If sorrow itself is yoga, is there anyone here who has not yet tasted sorrow? Anyone? Just raise your hand if you have not tasted sorrow. Raise your hand. Because after the talk, meet me. I will make you taste concentrated, saturated sorrow. I am capable. So all of us have tasted sorrow, but none of our, I don't know, but none of our sorrow has lifted us for yoga, connected us to some higher. Any sorrow that makes you heave up, uplifts you, evolves you, that sorrow is worth going through. So if you remember your sorrows, and any sorrow made you more enlightened, more awake, then understand, be thankful to that sorrow. So Arjuna's sorrow became yoga because it made him evolve, realize nobler or higher states of consciousness. Therefore it's called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So sorrow lifting you up. You know Siddhartha, Prince Siddhartha, the three, what did he see? The three sorrows. Old age, disease, death. First time he is seeing that old age. He never saw any old people. Imagine how his father must have brought him up. He made sure only young people are around him. And old people also, if they go, they have to put up all modern makeups and appear at least 30, 29. Then be in front of even his father and mother also. So never he saw old age, disease or death. First time he saw, and he felt it very odd. Very odd means, so you should remember that. Very odd means old age, disease, death. That's called odd. ODD. And immediately he wanted to He wanted a remedy for that old age, disease, death. And he wanted to leave the palace. His father asked him, because he's the only son. And he was recently married and very recently got a child, son, Rahul. And the father asked, don't you love your wife? Don't you love your child? You're leaving. Don't you love them? He says, I love them so much. Therefore, I want to leave. Isn't it? I love my wife so much. Therefore, I want to leave. So if your husband is not leaving, I'm only suggesting. What does it show? Isn't it? But why is he leaving? He wants a remedy. Because, see, leaving a wife, if the wife is very old, dilapidated, leaving an old wife is understandable. But a young wife, that too beautiful wife, isn't it? That is what is remarkable. So, he says, I want to leave because I want to find a remedy. Remedy for what? It's called ODD. Old age, disease, death. Therefore I am leaving. And did he find the remedy or not? Did he find the remedy for old age, disease, death? Did he find? No. He found, not find? Yes, no? Say yes, no. Yes, no? He did discover the remedy. And not only he discovered the remedy, but also distributed the remedy free. Till his ripe old age. They say Buddha lived till 96 years. Yeah. Till his ripe old age, he was distributing his remedy for old age. Till his ripe old age. He was giving the remedy for old age, disease, death. What remedy is that? He said, the old age, disease and death is only for the body. Now we don't need the disclaimer. Remove that. I'll tell you when again to put the disclaimer. There's one more time it's going to come. That is for Lord Krishna, I'll put the disclaimer. Don't let the screen be on. Don't pull it up. Because again that sound and all, and time to pull it down, pull it up. So, old age is for the body. Disease for the body. Or mind, intellect also. And death for the body. Isn't it? When the body gets old, we feel I am getting old. Why? I am identified with the body as I. I feel I am the body. And when the body is getting old, I feel I am getting old. When the body is sick, when you have a headache, do you say I have a headache? Or do you say my head is aching? What do you say? Swamiji, after you started this lecture, I am starting to have a headache. I am having headache. Not my head is aching. My head is aching is understandable. But I have it. See, I has been misplaced. So if I discover that I am something other than the body, then if I know that I am something other than the body, then I will not have old age. I will not have any disease nor death. Because death for the body, disease for the body, old age for the body. This is what Buddha discovered. Same thing with Arjuna also. He also awakened to his true nature. So the second chapter, Lord Krishna gives the whole vision of your true nature. You are that because of which you are conscious of your body. You are conscious of your mind. You are conscious of your intellect. What you are conscious of, you cannot be. I am conscious of you. Am I you? No way. Isn't it? You are conscious of me. You may like to be me. Do you? You may like to be me, but you cannot be me. You may say, thank God, Swamiji. So what you are conscious of, you are not. So this vision of the self is Sankhya Yoga, second chapter. That's what Krishna is giving to Arjuna. Because Arjuna's sorrow is because of what? Two reasons. One is, I have to kill all my kith and kin. So I will incur the sin of killing them. And other, they will all die. They will die and I will be the cause for their death. So I'll be a sinner. This is the sorrow. This sorrow, or any sorrow we experience, we know sorrow, we have tasted sorrow, but the source of sorrow, what is the cause of sorrow? If I ask you, what is the cause of your sorrow? Swamiji, my in-laws, my relations, my spouse, my children. Anything else? You, Swami. I forgot. Yeah. Because they told me it's December time, we'll go to Bahamas. My parents told me, we'll take you to Bahamas. And then they told me, no, Swamiji is coming, we can't go to Bahamas. Swamiji sab bahana tha. So that's why I said happy holy days, not holidays. Holy days. Isn't it? So sorrow, we know. But do we know that my sorrow is due to my delusion? Moha. Moha means ma uha becomes moha. Ma means not. Uha, uha poha vichakshana. Not seeing the pros and the cons. That's called moha. Because I am so carried away by that experience, I don't analyze the pros and the cons. Prejudice mainly. I want it or I don't want it. These are the only two things. I like it or I hate it. Raga means attachment, I want. Dvesha, aversion, I hate it, I don't want it. These are only two things. So I want it, but I'm not getting it. I don't want it, but I'm getting it. See this? This girl was telling me, Swamiji, you don't want iPhone 7 Plus. How come you get it? You don't need it. How come she knows I don't need it? I don't know. You don't need it and you get it. I want it and I don't get it. I said, if you want 7 Plus, not 7 Up, 7 Plus, invoke 7 Plus. What invoke 7 plus? I've been invoking daddy and nothing is happening. I said 7 plus is the 5 senses plus 2 mind, intellect, 7. 7 plus. Balaji is on top of 7 plus. Edukondalavada, Venkatramana, Govinda, Govinda. Isn't it? 7 on top of 7 hills. What are the 7 hills? The 5 senses, the mind, the intellect are the 7 hills you have to climb in order to meet the Lord. Therefore, iPhone 7 plus. This is a contemplation. iPhone 7 plus. So every time I use it, I'm contacting. I phone up 7 plus. I contact him. Isn't it? That's the glory. So even if you don't have iPhone 7 plus, what you can do? In your meditation seat, iPhone 7 plus. Try to turn your attention unto the consciousness which illumines the 7. You're conscious of the 5 senses. You're conscious of your mind. You're conscious of your intellect. So that 7 plus is illuminating your 7. This 7 nobody can give you. You already got it. See that? So you need not invoke anyone. Use this 7 to invoke him because of whom you are conscious of the 7. This is chapter 2. So actually I am that. I am consciousness, not what I am conscious of. But I am taking myself as this. When I take myself as the body, what happens? I become perceiver. Perceiver means through the sense organs, the seer, the hearer, the smeller, the taster, the toucher. Through the organs of perception, I become perceiver. The perceiver I comes. Or through the organs of action, the performer I. I perceive through the senses. I perform through the organs of action. So the perceiver performer comes when I am conscious of the body and also identify with the body. But knowingly if I identify, no problem. But we are not knowingly identifying. We have become the body, become the mind. When I become the mind, feeler I. Become the intellect, thinker I. Today whenever I say, I am coming, I am going, I am speaking. Who is speaking? The perceiver I, the feeler I, the thinker I. Not that I. So knowingly if I identify, then it is like a role play. Role play means like any actor. Martian. You really felt that he is in Mars, isn't it? Did you feel that he is in Mars? What a beautiful photography and all. Apollo 13 looks very cheap now. Isn't it? But while he is playing, is he identified knowingly or unknowingly? Especially through the surgery on himself. Staple his own. And he has no fat also. If you have some stomach fat, belly and all, easy to staple. How many have not seen that movie? Martian. Oh, therefore you can't. Oh, you've seen it. Who have seen it? So many have seen. So he has to perform a surgery to himself. So he has to staple his own stomach. When you have no South Indian belly, very difficult to staple. You can't even see it. You know, South Indian could have rested the staple itself on the belly and then adjusted. Isn't it? We have very good resting place, no? Because especially when you have to speak and all, it's very nice. You can standing and speaking. So a lot of advantages are there. So when the act actor is acting, he identifies, but knowingly. He knows he is that actor. But we don't, we become that. How to know whether he is really identified or become that role, or is he just, he knows himself but playing that role? How to know that? If has he really become that, or is he only knowingly identifying, or has fallen into it? How to know? How to detect? When the director says cut, immediately cut. Isn't it? He stops that action because director has said cut. I was staying a few years ago, not, I think in 2002 or 3, I don't remember. I was staying in one of the homes. Husband and wife are fighting. I was watching. For a few minutes it was entertaining. But my time for Bhiksha also is getting... So I said, cut. They looked at me and then continued. The only thing that was cut was my Bhiksha. My Bhiksha got cut. Now what can I do? So therefore I never, moment I see them fighting, till it is entertaining, I watch. When it is no more entertaining, I don't say cut anymore. I just go upstairs to my own room. See, knowingly we don't identify. We are conscious of it and we have become it. Therefore, I feel that. We don't say I am body. We say I am hungry. I am thirsty. I am tall. I am short. I am black. I am white. I am wheatish. This is the new phrase, that very popular it seems. In the what column? Matrimonial column or obituary? Which column it comes? Imagine obituary, you put wheatish. What is the use? Matrimonial column. Wheatish, very popular demand. Wheatish. See, I am misplaced. The I, the universal, infinite, eternal, changeless consciousness, misplaced, squeezed into this finite, constantly changing body. No wonder there is pain. The infinite put into the body. Have you tried wearing 2 numberless shoe? The Cinderella sisters, stepsisters, they try to squeeze their foot in the glass slippers. That infinitude into the finite, no wonder there is pain, sorrow. So here is the vision given that you are not what you are conscious of. So you are that. You are akarta. Akarta means akarta. Karta means doer. Akarta, non-doer. You are non-doer. But when the body, the sense organs are organs of action are doing, since I identify with it, I feel I am doing. When the mind is feeling, I feel I am feeling. When the intellect is thinking, you feel you are stinking. Oh, thinking. Isn't it? This is what is our condition. There's nothing wrong in saying. Don't you say when the car is doing 70? What do you say? I am doing 70. Don't you say that? I am doing 70. Nothing wrong in saying, but do you feel, you can't even do 7. But you say, I am doing 70. But the best part, first time I heard, I was shocked. I know it, but still I wanted to play a joke on the person. The person said, as he was driving, he saw Swamiji, he said, what? Swamiji, I am out of gas. When he said, I am out of gas, I said, that's very good. Because if you have gas, I can't sit in the car. Isn't it? So it's good, it's a healthy sign that you are out of gas. Swamiji, I thought you are an intelligent Swami. When I meant I am out of gas, I meant what? My car is out of gas. So you say it, I am out of gas, but your feeling is what? Not you are out of gas, the car is out of gas. So too when you say, I have pain, I have sorrow, I have depression, I am depressed, I am sorrowful, I am in pain. When you say it, you should feel like I am out of gas. Can you feel that? While saying, that's a fact. You are not in pain. You are conscious of the pain of the body. Especially pain is very, very, if you can think at that time, it pushes you to the present moment. Pain is the only thing that is felt in the present. And it is forgotten. Which is the highest pain? Physical pain. Highest. Huh? Pain in the neck is next to it. Labor pain. All mothers. How many mothers remember after 5 years of the child the labor pain? Any mother remembers? At the time of labor pain, she wants to kill the husband. Because husband stands a little distance away from the feet and the leg. Isn't it? So much pain, but after forgotten. So the pain brings you to the present. If at that time we can remember the present moment, the precious present revealed by the pain. I don't know whether we can, I myself have not tried. So I'm just putting an auto suggestion that when the pain comes, can the pain remind me of the presence of the precious present? So your attention is diverting. Try. I will also try. When the intense pain, or little pain is easy to practice. Somebody ask somebody to pinch you and then try. So you're conscious of the pain. Therefore, you can't say, I am in pain. But saying it, nothing wrong. You can say it. But you're feeling like, I am doing 70. I am out of gas. You're welcome to say. But you feel that the car is doing 70. The car is out of gas. So too, I am in pain. But you should feel, my body is in pain. I am in sorrow. My mind is in sorrow. I am depressed. My intellect is depressed, dejected. That feeling you must invoke. This is called contemplation. So, I am akarta, non-doer. BMI is karta and bhokta also. Bhokta means enjoyer. I am akarta. I am conscious of the doer, the enjoyer. I am conscious of the karta, bhokta. I am not karta, bhokta. I am akarta, abhokta. That's the goal to reach. I should feel that I am not doing anything. I am not enjoying anything. To feel it. When? While the BMI is doing and enjoying. While the car is going 70, you are saying, I am doing 70, but you are feeling the car is doing 70. See that? That much. So this is your BMI is your BMW. See that? So feel it as your car. If you feel the BMI as your car, then you will not have ahankar. It's called aham. If you take BMI as aham, then ahankar comes. Aham is atma. Aham atma. Not aham dehatma. Not sthula sukshma sharira. So I am not dehatma. I am atma. That awakening. So akarta abhokta. But now what do we feel? I feel I am a doer. And also very rarely enjoyer. Sufferer many, but enjoyer sometimes. So how to jump from karta to akarta, bhokta to abhokta? How to jump? It's like a jumping over Grand Canyon. It's a big jump. It's very difficult. So Lord Krishna gives that upaya. Upaya means, what's called upaya? A technique or solution for easy access. Imagine it's a 100-pound weight you have to suitcase to carry. 100 pounds. Because you're going to India. No, I think how many pounds allowed? 50 pounds? 50 pound, 2 suitcase. Only 2 are allowed, isn't it? 2 suitcase, 50 pound you have to carry. And wife says, carry. And you look at the wife. Wife says, what are you looking? Carry. Then what? Then you remember what? Upaya. What upaya? You bring the wheels. You put it on the wheels, and then just as when you walked around on the fire marriage date, they hold the pinky and walk, no? Don't you? The wife and the husband, they hold the pinky and walk around the fire. Why they do that? They ask me, Swamiji, why on marriage date we are asked to hold the pinky and walk? I say, I am a sannyasi, what will I know? No, but Swamiji, then I am only thinking that from that day, the day you are holding that, from that day onwards, katifu. If not, what else can I think? Because from that day when you are holding from the pinky, from today onwards, when I am taking a vow 7 times, katifu, katifu, katifu. Katifu, they say, no, that? Telugu katifu or which language is katifu? Telugu? Even Maharashtrians also use it. Katif. Katif or katifu? Katti. Only katti. But so Telugu people made katifu. Katti became katifu. That's what. So you remember that and you put it on the upaya, the luggage on the wheels, with your pinky, you pull it and go. Isn't it so easy to carry, isn't it? The 50-pound luggage is easy to drag. Why? On wheels. So too, from karta to akarta, suddenly to become akarta, impossible. So from karta buddhi to akarta buddhi. Karta buddhi means the notion, the feeling that I am a doer. From that notion to feel the notion I am a non-doer. It's very difficult. Akarta, non-doer. Tough. Therefore, in between. Upaya. What is that? Karana buddhi. Karana buddhi means instrumentality. I am his pet instrument. I am his, the feeling is here. I am. Because now I feel I am BMI. What can I do? I have to start where I have to start. That's why when people ask me the directions to Kailas Nivas, when people say, Swamiji, I want to come to Kailas Nivas, how to come? I immediately say from Capital Beltway 495, take exit 28 north to New Hampshire Avenue, drive 6.5 miles, turn left on Norwood Road, 4000 Chinmaya Mission. You understood what I said? You understood? See? That person says, Swamiji, I am not coming from Capital Beltway. I say, go there and then come. Because what can I, because that's the only direction I know. Because I have been reading, they put in the visiting card, Chinmaya Mission card. I used to read that every day. Because in the beginning I did not know. So they said, Swamiji, if somebody wants to come, you can just read it. I pasted it on the phone. And then when somebody calls from Capital Beltway 495, take exit 28 north to New Hampshire Avenue, drive 6.5 miles, turn left on Norwood Road, 4000 Chinmaya Mission. See how it has been tattooed in my intellect. So very easy to tell. But when they ask you direction, what do? Where are you? From where are you coming? This is your first question, isn't it? I never ask that question. Because what is the use of asking that question? One lady, poor lady, she was just near the Safeway. Near, what is that called? Cloverly. From there, she asked. I said, from Capital Beltway 495, take exit 28 north. Poor lady, she went from up to there and then came. And she saw me, and when she came up to there, she said, I am right there. When turning left only, she realized. She was so angry with me. I said, what do I know? Because whatever I know, I am responsible for, I am only responsible. I am only responsible for what I say, not for what. If you did not understand that you are living in Cloverly, this is the Norwood Road is so close to, if you did not understand, what can I do? Isn't it? Therefore, not my fault. So we are here today. I am here. At least this I know direction to that Kailas I can give well. But Kailas Nivas is not that, I am not that familiar in all sides. I can give from the body angle, I can give from the mind angle, I can give from the intellect angle. Where are you, I'll ask. Are you at the physical oriented? Are you a dynamic person of action? Are you a devotional, emotional person? Are you an intellectual? What are you? Where are you standing? Are you standing on the pedestal of your body? A dynamic person of activity? Or are you very emotional? Emotion of devotion? Are you an intellectual logic? Why, what, where, when, how, who? Are you that type? Then I can give you the direction to Kailas. See that? So we are here today. We know. Moment I wake up, what do I wake up to? Pain of the body, sorrows of my mind, dejections, disappointments of my intellect. I wake up to it. And I feel that I woke up. See the sorrow? How we are identified. I woke up. You never slept. You never woke up. You are ever awake. Also you can't say. You are ever awake. You never slept. If you sleep, what will happen? The real you. It is the mind that is going through the waking state, the dream state, the deep sleep state. Mind is traveling through Wyoming, Delaware, and Dakota South. Not South Dakota, Dakota South. Why? Wyoming, waking state. Delaware, dream state. Dakota South, deep sleep state. It's the mind going through. But I am identified with the mind. I am my mind today. When the mind wakes up, what do I say? I woke up. When the mind sleeps, check if anybody gone to sleep state. your neighbor, elbow and see. Isn't it? So mind is what I am today. As the mind, so the person. As the person, so the mind. So it's all in our tuning, training, taming the mind. So mind feels I am this now. This mind has to be tuned, trained, purified to awake to one's own self. So the technique is Karana Buddhi. Karana is I am his pet instrument. I am his pet. I am his ambassador. Like an ambassador. I have no opinion of mine. Whatever his is my. So you have to say, जी हमें मंजूर है आपका ये फैसला. So that, I don't know, you don't go to the movie and all. I'll tell a nice story about that later. Isn't it? So, I am his pet instrument. That instrumentality, that feeling we have to generate. This is what. So, now when Krishna had revealed to him that you are that akarta, abhokta, and then he says, do your duty. You are a non-doer, non-enjoyer. Therefore, do your duty. If I am a non-doer, to reach that state, so I should not do anything. To become a non-doer, what should I do? Don't do anything. That's what Arjuna thought. So therefore he is confused. So one side Lord Krishna is praising the Atma Jnana, and the other hand asking me to do the duties, fulfill your obligatory duties. No doubt Krishna praised Atma Jnana and also Atmavit, the last portion of the chapter 2, 18 verses. Lord Krishna eulogizes, praises the person of perfection. Because he is so thrilled when Arjuna asks, the person who is akarta, abhokta, one who is awake to that state, how does he transact with the BMI in OET? How does he transact? So Krishna gives the Sthita Prajna Lakshana so elaborately. Arjuna feels Lord is praising that, the path of that knowledge, that wisdom. Sthita Prajna, the man of wisdom, the person of perfection, the person of wisdom. He's praising wisdom, but why is he asking me to do the karma? He's praising knowledge, but asking me to do action. He thinks they are two separate paths. That's what he asks in the very first verse. We'll see the first verse. So my quota is, I should do at least 5 to 6 verses per day. But I'm not interested in completing 21 verses. If I can complete, I'll complete. If not, I'm right here. Every year, you have to suffer. I mean, suffer means Hindi suffer. Zindagi, ye suffer, that suffer. So let us chant. The first verse, children know it very well. So learn from the children the chanting. And adults can discuss how best you can explain to them in their own level. And you tell them disclaimer. What's the disclaimer? I am only responsible for what I say, not for what you understand. Children also, you tell mom and dad, your disclaimer also. Same thing. Because they understand differently what you say. You say, I don't care. You meant, I don't mind. But they understood you don't care. What do you mean you don't care? Yeah, I don't care. How dare you don't care? What is there to dare to I don't care? Because they don't understand, because they didn't understand what you are trying to say. So disclaimer is always good. Now, third chapter. Atha tritiyodhyayah Karma Yoga. Verse 1. Not bad. Because I'm just reading as it is. Arjuna Uvacha. Jayasi chet karmanaste. Mata buddhir janardana. Tat kim karmani ghore mam. Niyojayasi Keshava. So Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana. Janardan. Any name Janardan? Parents keep the name Janardan. And the mother gives Dhanadan to the Janardan. Janardan means one who gives Dhanadan to the demons. It's called Janardan. Ardha means one who, the Lord says to Dushta Jana. Jana means people. Dushta Jana, Ardha, means to go. Where? Hell. So, Lord says to Dushta Jana, go to hell. That's called Janardana. Suppose it was, all of us are going to die one day. So, I am giving one technique. When we go there, there will be a big queue there also. Lines and all will be there. Like a note bank and all, big lines. There will be. So what you should do, whenever you see a big line and a small line, which line will you choose? Few people are going one direction and a lot of people are going in that direction. Be intelligent. Choose where few people are going. Because that will definitely go to heaven. Because few people are going. Majority, where will they go home? And when you see somebody from that majority, they look at you, hey, hi, come. You tell, go to hell. You tell them. You can tell them, go to hell. You become Janardana at that time. Isn't it? So Janardana means one who pushes the demons to hell. Or Janardana means Ardha also to pray. You pray to the Lord for what? What do you pray to Balaji? Oh Balaji, give me this, give me that. Bhukti. Or or else Mukti. These are only two things. Either OET or that. Majority choose OET. Bhukti. Mukti, very few. So Bhukti, Mukti, Pradata is Janardana. Hey Janardana, one who is the bestower of the material prosperity and also the spiritual beatitude. He is called Janardana. Hey Janardana. He says, Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhi. Mata buddhi, he says. Mata buddhi means your buddhi, O Lord, hey Janardana, your buddhi, your opinion. If your opinion is buddhihi karmanaha jayasi. Buddhi means knowledge. Jayasi is superior. Superior to what? Karmanaha. Superior to karma. If you think that knowledge is superior to action, if you, in your opinion, hey Janardana, your view, your opinion is knowledge is superior to action. Tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi. Then why are you pushing me into this karma? Not a karma. If you say, hey Arjuna, do Archana. Keshavaya Swaha, Om Nakashvaya Namah, Narayana Namah, Madhavaya Namah, Govinda Namah, Vishnu Namah. So if you do that, Vishnu Sahasranam we do, isn't it? So nice. If you ask me to do that karma, I don't mind. But you are asking me to do this Ghora karma. Ghora karma is what? Banarchana. Arrow Archana. You are asking me to do arrow Archana. To whom? My own grandsire, Bhishma. And my own Guru, Drona. You ask me to shoot them with arrows. If you ask them to put flowers at their feet and all, oh, I'll be very happy to do it. But you're asking me to do this terrible action. So if you, in your opinion, you consider that knowledge is superior to action, why do you push me into this terrible action of killing? Why? Now when the student is asking a question, see, you all as we also as students, we never thought the teacher's job is very delicate. We thought, what teacher's job? He comes and barks and goes. What teacher's job? And we have to hear that. We have to suffer. But teacher's job is very delicate. When a student asks a question, the teacher should not interfere in the flow of the doubt of the student. He should not interrupt the student. He should allow him to, not even interrupt him with his expression. So, neither congratulate the student for the doubt, nor criticize the student for the question. Suppose the question the student asks, the teacher says happily, oh, what a wonderful question you have asked. Nobody has asked me this question. You are the first student who asked this brilliant question. When the teacher says that, imagine, that student, what will he do? He'll look at the back to know whether all have heard what the teacher has said. He wants to know everybody to know that he is the most. Or he will look back and check and acknowledge people also. Isn't it? And everybody will say, if it is a boy asking, all the boys will, and the girls will say, there itself will start. But he will look up and look back, whether all have noticed. So, and then thereafter what will happen? That student will never listen to what the teacher is trying to tell, because he is fabricating new doubts, because the vanity is tickled. So I want my teacher to praise more and more so that I get more and more likes. Suppose the teacher is very impatient, and when the student asks a question, you idiot, where were you when I was teaching? Is your mind wandering, idiot? Sit down. If his teacher scolds and very angry and annoyed, that student thereafter, at that time he will not look back. He wants to bury himself. Bury himself. Isn't it? So, teacher should not, and thereafter he will never, even a question, genuine doubt, he will not ask. Why? Why ask? Why provoke him? If the doubt is there, let the doubt remain with me. I will die with my doubt. He will never ask. So teacher cannot congratulate, nor can the teacher criticize, condemn. Now what will the teacher do? Even by looks he cannot congratulate or condemn. How will the face be? You are not congratulating, you are not condemning. How will your face be? As it is now, I think. Isn't it? So Krishna's face was like that, because he is allowing the student to express. But the student misunderstands. What? I asked such a beautiful question, and this useless teacher does not understand. He didn't understand what I am trying to say. So every student tries to annotate. He tries to elaborate his doubt. That's what Arjuna is trying to tell. The next verse. Vyamishrenev vakyena. I think children put it in a different way. Vyamishrenev vakyena. Buddhim mohayasiva me. Tadekam vada nischitya. Yena shreyoham apnuyam. So Arjuna is saying, hey Krishna, Earlier he has used even Keshava also. Tatkim karmani gore mam niyojayasi. Hey, Keshava. Keshava means one who had long, luxurious hair. That's called Keshava. Long hair. Keshava, one meaning. Means one who is very charming. Hair is the sign of beauty. So Keshava one. Keshava, why he took in the war field? What he was actually, Krishna he has tied his hair. Here Keshava is Ka Isha Va becomes Keshava. Ka is Brahma. Isha is Ishvara. Va Vishnu. So Brahma, Shiva, Mahesh. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh means one who is the creator, one who is the organizer, one who is the destroyer. Generator, organizer, destroyer. Is what? Generator, G. Organizer, O. D. Destroyer. Is God. Telugu people. I don't want to say that. So God, G-O-D, generator, organizer, destroyer. Hey Keshava, why are you pushing me? And he didn't see any expression on Krishna's face. So he says, Vyamishrena iva vakyena buddhim mohayasi. My buddhi, my understanding, you are confusing me, he says. By Vyamishra, by confusing ideas. You are telling me knowledge is superior, and then you are asking me to do karma. You feel knowledge is superior to action. When knowledge is superior, you must say, hey Arjuna, go for that knowledge. You should tell like that. Instead, you are telling me to do this ghora karma. You are contradicting, you are confusing. But he thought Krishna will get angry. He says, Vyamishrena iva buddhim mohayasi iva. Iva means it appears to me as though you are confusing me. You may not feel you are not confusing, but I feel. It is my feeling. Tad ekam vada. Tell me one thing. Ekam vada. Tell one nischitya. Hey Krishna, you first decide. You take your own time. Decide which one. And then you tell me. Don't tell knowledge is superior, but you do action. Don't tell me two things. That contradiction, because to seek that knowledge, what I should do? I should withdraw the attention of my BMI from OET and turn the attention exclusively unto that. That's called knowledge path, path of contemplation, path of meditation. What's the path of meditation and contemplation? I have to withdraw the attention of BMI, the attention of BMI, mainly attention of M and I. Withdraw the attention of M and I from OET and turn that attention unto the self, the subject, the consciousness, exclusively. This is called the path of contemplation. Path of action is what? I have to use my BMI in OET. These are two separate. So tell me one thing. Should I withdraw my attention from OET and turn that attention exclusively to O, or use my BMI in OET? Don't tell me that is superior, but you do this. Why? So tell me one. Because Arjuna is an army man. For an army man, one way, by the right march. You can't say you by the left also you can march, by right also you can march. If you tell that they will never march. For an army person, one, do or die, that's all is there. By the right march. And when they're marching, there's a cliff coming and they are marching. They know the cliff, and if the commander doesn't say anything, what will they do? They have to march. Left, right. And Laurel Hardy also were there in my military, the old movies. And they were marching. The commander is giving, by the right march, left, right, turn right. Left, turn right. Left, right, turn left. Right about turn. Okay. I said, well, if you have, they stop, they don't go any further. The commander, what happened? Sir, you decide. Should I go left or should we go right? Should we go straight? We went left, right, and you say right about turn. If you have to walk, why right about turn? You decide what we should do. But they didn't realize the marching. Arjuna also did not realize. So army person wants one. But he thought these are two separate paths. The knowledge path is separate and action path is separate. Why? It will come in the next few verses. Here, Arjuna feels knowledge path and action path is separate. Why? He did not realize that path of action is like an entrance exam. Imagine, you have to take an entrance exam to become whatever you want to become. Is there entrance exam to become a doctor? Is there? You may have to take an entrance exam to become a doctor. So, suppose I prepare for entrance exam so that you can become doctor. Becoming doctor is great, but you take entrance exam to become the doctor. Are they two separate paths? Preparation for the entrance exam is the means to become a doctor. You cannot become a doctor if you don't prepare for the entrance exam. So you never will ask question, do you want me to prepare for the entrance exam or do you want me to become a doctor? Tell me one thing. Will you ask that question? It looks very easy. But Arjuna, because Arjuna's condition was he was so prejudiced. He did not want to fight. That's the bottom line. When you don't want to do something, you bring all logic, your own side. I don't want to do it. Therefore, I give all. He didn't want to fight. Therefore, he wants to give up the action. Because this action, Ghora Karma, he doesn't like. Therefore, he wants to go to Himalayas, meditate, contemplate. That's what he feels. So Krishna says these are not two separate paths. One is a preparation for the other. Say one whole program. In India, in the village, one road. But the village leader, what they call village leader? Sarpanch? Sarpanch, the leader, he went to out of another village. There he saw many roads, many names and all. So he thought my village has only one road, but I can give many names. So he gave, as you enter, Patel Marg. Patel Marg? Patel brothers, you know, so Sardar Patel Marg. Then after some time, when the same road is turning right, Gandhi Marg, two roads. So you ask a friend, where are you? I am in Patel Road, Patel Marg. And the other friend is, I am in Gandhi Marg. And we are neighbors. You are in Patel Marg and you are in Gandhi Marg. How can you be neighbors? Because same road. When the road is turning, at the turn, our both houses are there. I am in Gandhi Road, I am in Patel Road. Same one road. So when you're walking the path of karma, and it makes you turn in the right direction, and you reach the path of knowledge. So one path. That's what Krishna is going to tell. So don't misunderstand that they're two separate paths. So this is what Krishna is trying to convey to Arjuna. So, hey Arjuna, don't feel that I'm confusing you. I'm just trying to tell you. So Arjuna is asking, Tad ekam vada. Give me one way. Yena, by which Shreya apnuyam. Shreya, who introduced me. Shreya means what? Shreya is the motto of Chinmaya Mission. What's the motto of Chinmaya Mission? To give maximum happiness to maximum number for maximum time. That's called Shreyas. One word. Imagine one word Shreyas you to translate to give maximum happiness to maximum number for maximum time is Shreyas. So tell me, hey Krishna, by which I can attain Shreyas. Shreya. Shreyena. Shreyoham apnuyam. The highest standard of life. We may have highest standard of living. Even though we may have highest standard of living, if we do not have the highest standard of life, it's a miserable. Luxuriously we'll be suffering. Among cushions and comforts and comforters we'll be crying. What's the use? So standard of life is important. That's called Shreyas. So by which I can get Shreyas. So Lord Krishna replies to Arjuna. Let us see. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Lokesmin Dvividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Maya Nagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Lord answers to Arjuna's question. Hey Arjuna, Loke asmin dvividha nishta pura prokta maya he anagha. Anagha means, agha means sin. Anagha means sinless. Hey Arjuna, you are a good person. You are not asking question in a very, you are not a person of ill will. Just to, mock my knowledge. You are sincerely asking, you are a good person. You may not have understood my teaching, but still you are a good person. Because you are a good person, therefore I am giving you. Hey Anaga, asmin loke, loke asmin means asmin, in this loka, in this world, in this loke, in this world. Dvividha nishtha. Nishtha means generally abidance, but here nishtha is path. There is one path which is twofold. Twofold path. The path is one, but it is twofold. Pura prokta maya. By me, this twofold path has been told. Pura, ancient times, means in the time of, from the beginning of creation, as the Lord is, in the beginning of creation, so I have given this twofold path. Pura, that can meaning come. Or Pura means just recently. When? Chapter 2. Last year. I know you have cleared it. Pura Prokta, just last chapter, I have given. So, hey Arjuna, Pura Prokta. What are the two paths? Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yoginam. These are the two paths. Twofold, not two paths, twofold path. So, one is for Jnana Yogis, Sankhya. For Jnana Yogis means Vivekinam. Those are Viveki Purusha, those who can have the power of discretion. Viveka. Insight has gone outside. Viveka, insight. I will do what is right. That's called Viveka, Vivekinam. And Karma Yogena, for the beginners in the spiritual path, those who have decided to evolve. Karma Yogena Yoginam. These two paths. So path of knowledge for the contemplative and meditative, and path of action for the dynamic people of action. Those who are very dynamic, for them, Karma Yoga, so that they can evolve and march into that. So two paths. But Hinduism is known for many paths. Why Hinduism has many paths? That's the glory of Hinduism. Suppose, okay, mark it. If suppose, in case, by chance, all are same meaning. If, suppose, in case, by chance, I invite you for dinner. remember that I am only responsible what I say, not what you understand. If, suppose, in case, by chance, I invite you for dinner, I'm not inviting, don't misunderstand. Swamiji understood that you land there. If you're ready to fast, you can come. So if I invite you for dinner and I really want to serve you, so what should I do? Because I invited you. So I should prepare varieties of dishes, isn't it? Not roti, dal, dal, roti. South Indian will look, what? Roti, dal, dal, roti. Sadha liya. Annam leda, Telugu la. Or only rice, sambar, rice, that's it. North Indian will chapati nahi kya. Poli nahi kya. This is all, I can't satisfy. So I should prepare varieties. Not only the fresh vegetables in one side and remote corner, all dead bodies of various sizes and other side. Long, far away. Because I have to satisfy all, isn't it? Suppose you come and say, Swamiji, you so much you prepare, how can I eat all of them? You are not supposed to. Isn't it? You decide. Are you a person of fresh vegetables and a fresh person with a sattvic mood and all? Then you can go this side. And if you are rajasic, tamasic, go that side. You choose. Nowadays in marriages and all, how many states, I think, in India, states dinners, stalls, and a drone goes by your head to photograph what you are eating. Isn't it? See the progress. So varieties are to, so that's the glory of Hinduism, for you to choose. Imagine for one tongue, how many varieties of delicacies, dishes. If for one tongue, so many varieties, what to talk of mind? Isn't it? So too many paths. So Jnana Yoga for the person of contemplation, meditation. Karma Yoga for those who are dynamic people of action. Two paths have been prescribed in the past. Hey Arjuna, hey Anaga. But all the time Krishna is wondering, why is Arjuna wanting to leave the action? He doesn't want to perform the action. Why is he wanting that? So Krishna understands that this Arjuna has been listening in the past to some pandits passing by. Any pandit that passes through Hastinapur, Bhishmacharya, in the warden. Bhishmacharya was their warden. Is there any pandit passing by, call the pandit and make them talk to the princess. So no advertisement, no emails, nothing needed. One call. Assemble in auditorium. 106 assemble immediately. Who are the 106? 101 Kauravas and 5 Pandavas. 106 have to assemble there. And these pandits, when they come, they want to show off their knowledge. So they talk at the princess, not for the princess. So all the ideas were going above the head or by the sides. No idea went into the heart. So Arjuna has been hearing actionlessness is the goal to reach. See, I told akarta, abhokta. Actionlessness is the goal. So Naishkarmya, it's called in Sanskrit. Naishkarmya Siddhi also. Naishkarmya. So Arjuna thought actionlessness is the goal. So how to reach actionlessness? By performing action. So if I don't perform action, I will reach my goal, actionlessness. So why should I act? Hey Krishna, you're confusing me. Action, I know actionlessness is the goal. So therefore, I want to give up this action. That is what Arjuna's point. So Krishna that's why Krishna's love is intellectual love. This is what we should have for teenagers. When they ask a question, we should know, why is he asking this question? Why? Why this question has to come? Don't shout at why. How dare you ask this question? All your daddy's buddhi is coming. Don't blame them. Isn't it? So why is he asking? What experience they are going through, we don't know. Why? So Krishna's love is intellectual love. Why? They go round about, if this answer doesn't satisfy, another answer. Another way, another way. So see all the possibilities to answer that doubt. So Krishna was thinking, so he understood that Arjuna must have misunderstood this word Naishkarmya. So Krishna gives the next verse. Let us see. Na karmanam anarambhat Naishkarmyam purushoshnute Nacha sanyasana deva Siddhim samadhigacchati. So, when those Pandits were giving the teachings, they should know the level of each student. So I was in summer camp, beginning in pre-K also we were taking. Pre-K is 3-4 years. They also used to, and they told me, Swamiji, I never took that class, but they told Swamiji, can you go and take one class? I said, yeah, I don't mind, I go. I sat and started teaching them. Every sentence I say, they laugh. Every sentence. I was enjoying, and they were laughing and all. For about 10 minutes, laugh, oh laugh, every sentence. And then afterwards, then I asked a question. When I asked a question, everyone raised their hands. I was so happy. All these I should take only their class. I decided. Then I said, okay, I selected one girl. Okay, you answer. And that girl said, Swamiji, last week I went to my uncle's house. I said, my question, her point was, Swamiji, now your turn to talk is over. Now our turn starts to talk. That's all is there. So then I understood, okay, just to entertain each other, I go for pre-K class. I tell one sentence, they laugh. So every sentence, laugh, oh laugh. Then no questions I ask. Then I listen to them. So they hear me and I listen to them. That's how it went. So when a word is conveyed, it is, suppose I say, amblogimbiskia. Did you understand? I'm not giving any South Indian language. It's just a sound. But if a sound conveys some meaning, a picture comes in your mind. Cat, dog, camel, donkey, your husband. Does the picture come immediately? See? So when a word or a sound conveys an image in your understanding, you get a picture, either of the thing or a being, or picture of the idea. That's called a sentence or a meaningful sentence, which should convey some meaning to you, some understanding. A clear picture must come to you. So this Naishkarmyam word is used. What is it? Actionlessness. This actionlessness is a scientific term in the Vedantic meaning. Not actionlessness has nothing to do with action or inaction. That state is called actionlessness. But there is a chain of action to reach that state of actionlessness. Why actionlessness? Any action anybody does, yadyat kurute jantuhu, any being, whatever the being does, tat kamasya cheshtitam. Every action is prompted by a desire. All are desire prompted actions. Desire prompted activities. So because of desire, that desire will cause agitations in the mind, and desire and agitation will whip the body into action. This is the sequence. So the action is because of the agitations and desires. So actionlessness means desirelessness. Therefore, agitationlessness. Therefore, actionlessness. See the chain. We see actionlessness. That action, Buddha sitting under the tree, Bodhi tree, the actionlessness because of agitationlessness. Agitationlessness because of desirelessness. Desirelessness because of vasanalessness. Vasanalessness because of ignorancelessness. Ignorancelessness because of knowledge. See the chain? So the actionless state is the state of knowledge. So without having that knowledge, simply remaining at the body level with inaction will not take you there. Without that knowledge. So actionlessness is because of agitationlessness. Agitationlessness because of desirelessness. Desirelessness because of vasanalessness. Vasanalessness because of ignorancelessness. Ignorancelessness positively because of knowledge. You are awakened to your own actionlessness state, the non-doer, non-enjoyer state. That's called Naishkarmya Siddhi. Naishkarmyam. That's why Krishna says, Na karmanam anarambat naishkarmyam na ashnute purushaha. A person cannot attain that actionlessness state without performing action. Nacha sanyasanadeva, by simply giving up action. Siddhim samadhi nagachati. You cannot attain siddhi. By renouncing action, you cannot attain that state of actionlessness. Without the performance of action, you cannot attain the Naishkarmya. By giving up action, you cannot attain that perfect state of perfection. This is what Krishna is telling in this. Now the time is up. So we'll see, this is a very important verse. So we will try to understand that. Always any action because of desire prompted activities. Actionlessness because of agitationlessness. Agitationlessness because of desirelessness. Desirelessness because of vasanalessness because of ignorancelessness. Ignorancelessness because of knowledge. Awake to that state. Because of that knowledge, you realize I am actionless. I am a non-doer. I am a non-enjoyer. I am a sakshi. For the next class.